Hey! Hello! Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Sunday, and usually on Sundays and even Saturdays I post a short here on my YouTube channel, but not today. I decided yesterday I will take a break from that because I'm planning to do a business trip for my job this coming week, and I was like, this is a good time to just cut it off, and I'll start it off again next Saturday. So if you've been waiting for one of my shorts, I doubt anyone's done that, but that's the explanation for you. So I thought, why not kick off this one? It could be a monthly thing that I do. Sunday small talk. Small talk. Thank you, Green, for that. I worked so hard on that jingle, you won't believe it. I actually stole it from Scredibility. But anyhow, so Sunday small talk, just me talking about some of the records that I picked up during the month, because I've been doing some of these segments before, records that I picked up recently, but I haven't really been consistent with them, so I thought, at least once a month I could do this, so we'll call it Sunday small talk. Yeah, why not? Because it's just me relaxing, showing you some of the records I just recently picked up. And also, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about something big that happened to me. So stay tuned for that. First of all, yesterday, we'll start in reverse order. So yesterday, I went out on town, lovely weather. I visited my favorite record shop, The Sound Machine, here in Reading. And everyone's today, at least the Beatles-oriented channels that I follow here on YouTube, are doing reviews of the newly re-released album from Wings and Paul McCartney, Venus and Mars, which is an excellent album, but I won't be doing that on this channel. No, I went in another direction when it comes to the Beatles yesterday when I went into the Sound Machine, because these two were on the CD wall over there. And this is, of course, John Lennon's Mind Games, which was also recently released last year. And I've been listening to, I would say, 4 tracks from this album. I always enjoyed what I was hearing, but I never heard it in its entirety. And this one, it was a bargain, really. It's a Japanese edition. It came with this, here we go, Obi strip that tends to fall off. So I'll just keep it off for the moment being. But so I'm really looking forward to listen to this one. Haven't had a chance yet to listen to it, but I will do that tonight, I think. But one I did listen to when I came home was the second one, this one. It's an album I never heard before. I never heard a single track from it. It's the Plastic Ono Band. So once again, it's John Lennon with Yoko Ono as well. And this is a live piece in Toronto, 1969. Once again, a Japanese edition of this album, a CD, of course. So I was like, they were both priced really reasonably, so I picked them up both. I took a chance on this one. Well, it starts out with John doing Blue Suede Shoes and tracks like Dizzy Miss Lizzy. And I'm not too fond of those old rock and roll classics, really. I have nothing against them, really. It's just that I'm not too fond, so I'm not hating on them or anything like that. And I know it's his idols, the ones he grew up listening to and so forth and so on. The reason I actually picked up this one was because the Yoko is in it. I always found Yoko more interesting than John Lennon. And I have over here, if I can reach it, here it is, my favorite album by Yoko Ono. This is Fly from 1971, and I love this album. Very experimental, you might say, avant-garde and all that, But I really learned to appreciate Yoko Ono over the years. I remember back in the 80s listening to some tracks from her, and it's like, it's just screaming, what is this? Turn it off, and all of that. But I matured to the sound, and I really love what Yoko Ono did with all her records that she released. And that is my favorite. And now back to this one, because it does include the track Don't Worry Yoko, which is also featured on that album. But this one was recorded, of course, in 1969 and live. So I was really intrigued to hear that track. And it didn't disappoint at all. She does a really good rendition of that highly experimental track called Don't Worry Yoko, with the undertitle within brackets, Mummy is only looking for a hand in the snow. Creepy one, but yeah, interesting one as well. And to my surprise, she also contributes, because this is, after all, the Plastic Ono Band. She does contribute with her voice to some of the other tracks. So I think it was Cold Turkey, that old classic that John does. And she does lend her voice to that track as well in a very interesting way. And I don't see it as screaming anymore. It's just her way of contributing things with her voice. She's got a very specific style, if you know what I mean. But so yeah, those were the two albums by John Lennon and Yoko Ono that I picked up. And earlier this month, talking about the Beatles, I also picked up this one, George Harrison's All Things Must Pass. This is the 50th anniversary edition, 2 CDs, and this is an album that I've been listening to, I would say most of the tracks, selected tracks I could also say, from this one over the years, and I always loved it, and it boggles my mind that I never picked up a copy of it, but they had this one in the Sound Machine as well a couple of weeks ago, so yeah, it was a no-brainer. I picked it up. Perfect stuff. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. And then I also picked up a couple of 7-inches. It doesn't happen too often with me, but I found a couple of interesting ones. I don't have that many. I have some 7-inches still in my collection, but a lot of them I got rid of in the 90s. And one of them was sadly this one, Street Tough, with Double MC and Rebel MC. No, sorry, Double Trouble and Rebel MC. Yeah, I can't think straight. Anyhow, Street Tough, I loved that one when it came out. And just recently, I listened to some music videos in preparation for a segment that I'm doing here on my channel. And this one came up automatically after one of the videos. And I was like, whoa, I forgot about that one. It still sounds really great. And it's probably nostalgia talking, but I really love this one. So when I went to the Sound Machine a couple of weeks ago, I looked through their 7-inch collection, and lo and behold, here it was. I would love to have the 12-inch as well, because at least there was one good remix on it, but they didn't have that one. But I got the 7-inch, and that's good enough. Really glad to have a Rebel MC back in my collection. And I also found this one. This is Vicious Pink, Phenomena. If you've been following my channel, you know I talked about Vicious Pink before and how I discovered them just recently. Back in the 80s, I had no clue who Vicious Pink was, which is such a great thing, I think, still, that even if I didn't experience Vicious Pink, for example, back in the 80s, I still get to discover so much good music that was released back then, not only in the 80s, in the 70s as well, as you can see with the George Harrison album. So yeah, it's a treasure trove waiting to be discovered out there, really. That's my opinion. Yeah, so Vicious Pink, this was their first single before they just became Vicious Pink. They were Vicious Pink Phenomena. So the first single was Je t'aime, that is a cover of the Serge Gainsbourg hit, you might say. And they do a really interesting rendition of Je t'aime on this one. Everything produced by David Ball from Soft Cell. They worked really closely with Soft Cell back in the day. They did some backing things for Soft Cell, and then Dave Ball produced for Vicious Pink and so forth and so on. So there's a connection between them. So yeah, found their first single, Je t'aime, which is really good. It's got a good B-side as well called In the Swim. So yeah. Two covers, I believe, on this one, because I think the B-side is also a cover. And then the other 7-inch that I also picked up at the same time was this one, Grace Jones, Pull Up to the Bumper. And this is a song that I had on many mixtapes back in the day, but I never owned it on LPs, or no, 7-inches, I would say, or even the 12-inch. So I found this one for I think £2. So I was like, yep, it's no brainer, I'm going to pick it up. And I had no idea when I picked it up, it wasn't until I came home, that it's a bit of a special one. Disc in really good condition, which I was really thankful for. There are some wouldn't say rips on the cover, so it's not in the best condition. But what really surprised me was that you could fold it out like this. Here you go. Grace Jones in some very interesting outfit there. But that's not all. You could actually fold it out even further. So let's do that. Here you go. There's one side, and on this side, also another interesting outfit on Grace Jones there. So you could put this up on the wall like this, with the front cover and the back cover there, with Grace on the accordion. But the back side is a huge poster, not a huge, but a fairly big one for Grace Jones. That's the front cover, of course, of Pull Up to the Bumper. So you could have Grace Jones in all her glory on the wall as well. So that was a bit of a surprise to me. But yeah, a great single. I love that one. And when it comes to albums that I picked up this month, we have this one from the Japanese artist. And please, I'm probably going to butcher this one. So please excuse my pronunciation here. Shuko Igarashi, with Onsen Music. This is an artist that I discovered through Juno Music here in the UK on their website. So if you go to Juno Records, I think it's called, whenever you browse any record, they have sound bites of it, so you can actually listen to what it sounds like. And when I was browsing one evening, I was like, for some reason I came across some Japanese music, and I was like, I really never heard any Japanese pop. So I searched for Japanese pop on Juno Music, and this was one of them that came up. And I was like, yeah, I'll listen to a couple of bits. It was really interesting. It was labeled as Japanese pop or city pop. City pop I never heard of before, but it could be a Japanese form of pop. I don't know. But to my ears, this is electronic experimental music with a hint of pop. And it's brilliant. So I ordered it straight away, and I've been listening to it quite a lot. She's very talented. And I will pronounce it again, excuse me, Shoko Igarashi with Onsen Music. Highly recommended if you want some interesting take on pop, really, in the Japanese way. City pop, they called it on the label. Yeah. And then last but absolutely not least, if you've been following my channel once again and you've seen some of the shorts that I've been doing, pulling random records from my record collection during the weekends, I talked about Toya, the band, and the album Anthem not long ago. But Toya Wilcox, who is the lead singer of Toya, the band, went solo and called herself Toya once again. So it's a bit confusing, but Toya, the solo artist. I haven't had that many Toya solo albums in my collection so far. But yeah, anyhow, she released this one some years ago, In the Court of a Crimson Queen. And it had a different cover back then. And I think it was a re-release by then, because it was actually released in the early 2000s. And I'm winging it here, so excuse me if I got that wrong. But that was also around the same time when they first re-released this one, when I came aware of Toya, yet another one that I wasn't aware of in the 80s. So yeah, but I was so preoccupied by listening to her older albums, Toya the band's albums, and collecting those. So I was like, I'll wait with this one till a bit later. But yeah, anyhow, this one came up on Amazon just recently, and they had a sale, and they were ridiculously low in price. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick this one up. So this is another issue of In the Court of the Crimson Queen, called the Rhythm Deluxe Edition. So there are some additional tracks. They rework some of the tracks. So yeah, and I just had to get it, and it's brilliant. Of course it is. It's Toya. So really happy to have picked that one up. And at the same time, they also had reduced in that sale the follow-up album, Posh Pop. Haven't listened to this one yet, but I will. And I'm sure I won't be disappointed at all, because it's Toya. And it's Posh Pop. Yeah. Could be. Yeah, and they all come on different colored vinyl. So this one, Posh Pop, is on grey vinyl, and it's all from Demon Records. And the same goes for this one, also from Demon Records, and very fittingly on Crimson Red vinyl. I had 2 CDs that I nearly forgot about. I also picked this one up during this month. This is, of course, Pointer Sisters Breakout, the big album from 1984. Or you might say 1983, because it was released twice. A bit confusing, but that's the way it was. I have this one still, if I'm not mistaken, but it's in storage in Sweden. And I'm talking about the LP, the album of it. But this one is an interesting one because it does contain 2 CDs. So on one CD we have the 1983 edition, and on the other one we have a 1984 edition, because when it first was released it had the track sequence was different. And then in 1984, when they had some hits with Jump, For My Love, and so forth and so on, they rearranged the sequencing, took away something, added something, and all that. It's all in here. It's all explained in a really nice booklet as well. And we also get some of the extended version, some of the mixes of the single tracks as well. So it's a gem of a CD. I also picked that one up from the Sound Machine. And at the same time, I also found this one. The drummer from the Beach Boys, Dennis Wilson. His one and only solo album, Pacific Ocean Blue. And when I once again discovered really the Beach Boys, when I first actively started listening to them, and that was with the re-release of their Smile Sessions album or box set, which I have up here. I also came aware of Dennis Wilson and his solo career, which was only one album, like I said, this one. And I listened to it, and I was immediately struck by how good it was. It really pulled my heartstrings, this one. A beautiful, beautiful album. And when it was re-released years and years ago now, I was like, yeah, I have to pick it up. But I only had it on my Spotify playlist. To this day, I don't know why I didn't pick it up immediately, but I didn't. But thankfully, now I found it again in really good condition. This is a 2-disc set, so we get the original album with some bonus tracks, some outtakes from the Pacific Blue sessions. And then on the second disc, we get Bamboo, the Caribou sessions. So Bamboo was meant to be his second solo album, but unfortunately it never came to fruition. And then sadly, he passed away as well. So it was just left there in a vault, basically. But at the time when this one was re-released, we got both all of the surviving material basically on 2 discs here. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased to get hold of this one. And it's a beautiful packaging on this one with a nice booklet, 2 CDs, like I said. And yeah, looks like this, folded out. Love this album. It's such a good one. The great Dennis Wilson and Pacific Ocean Blue. So yeah, that was what I picked up so far. And I also want to hear what you picked up so far this month, or just recently, or whenever. Just let me know what you're really excited about, what you found in those crates out in the different record shops around the world, wherever you may come from. Would love to hear that. And now to the big announcement, the big thing that happened to me. I just watched, just before starting recording here, I watched the statistics on my YouTube channel, and I actually reached 200 subscribers. Yes! And you might say, well, that's not much. Well, to me, it is. It is much. And I said this before, because when I started this channel, I had no illusions of being a big YouTuber or anything like that. I just started it because I have a passion for music and I wanted to talk about it. And the only ambition I had was to reach out to like-minded people, to get those special connections, you know, talking about music and what we picked up and what we love about music and critiquing it or whatever. That's all I wanted. And I achieved that as well. I had so many good connections through this YouTube channel with people from all different corners of the world telling me about how much they love what I was talking about and giving me some tips on some other artists as well that I might like and all of that. So it's just that exchange of music and our passion for music, really. So yeah, it's big for me. 200 subscribers. I wouldn't have dreamt of that one when I started this one. Yeah, so really great. So when I'm back from this trip that I'm doing this coming week, I think it will be next Sunday, I will do something special, a 200 subscriber special just for you guys. So thank you so much for supporting me and watching my videos and all of that. And I'll be back next weekend. You all take care of yourself, and a big heartfelt adieu from me.